Happy ReZero Day. Season 3 is here. We just got a 90-minute first episode, and Subaru actually almost made it the entire 90 minutes without dying. We got a new Archbishop, a bunch of new characters, a brand new art style, some new allegations against Subaru, and a really good cliffhanger. I can't wait for next week. Words cannot describe how good ReZero is, but numbers can. I literally just realized this, but every season begins with Subaru spinning Beatrice. And remember, they formed a contract at the end of season 2. So just like how Emilia had Puck before he left to buy some milk, Subaru now has Beatrice as his own personal spirit. Except he tells Joshua that she's his daughter and that Emilia is the mother. I thought that was pretty funny. Something I noticed immediately is that the art style has changed a bit, and I'm actually very relieved. Every character looks fantastic, and this is a tremendous improvement over the previous season, especially in Emilia's case. Her buffs were so significant that I had to pause the episode for a solid 2.5 minutes just to fully appreciate her character. Also, there was plenty of room in that carriage, bro. They didn't have to do Garfield like that. Priestella has an interesting design for a city. It's almost shaped like a coliseum, and according to Beatrice, the original purpose of the city was to trap something inside it. The architecture is also just blatantly Japanese, meaning that Alec Hoshin, the person who built it, was obviously from Japan. Something else I found interesting was that Anastasia has the same last name as him. Speaking of Anastasia, was she always shaped like this? Cause I don't know, I might have to vote for her. Also, this isn't a spoiler, but in case you didn't know, Al was supposed to tell Subaru that he's also from Japan in season 1, but for some reason that scene was cut from the anime. Liliana isn't nearly as annoying as I remembered from the web novel, and her songs were surprisingly my favorite part of the episode. She kinda reminds me of one of those VTubers who talks in a cute baby voice, except for when they have to sing, and then all of a sudden they sound 35. A good example of ReZero's brilliant writing is how Liliana is used here with subtlety to recap the events of previous seasons for those of us that might have forgotten. Also, I thought it was funny how Subaru literally just met her, but he's already making plans to take her hostage for some reason. Regulus appears. He's just casually walking around the city, and he tries to use the authority of Riz on Emilia after accidentally bumping into her, but Subaru's mom didn't raise no cuck, so he intervenes and tries defusing the situation, which Regulus could have easily interpreted as a violation of his rights, so Subaru doesn't even know how close he was to dying here. I'm surprised Regulus allowed that. If you're wondering why Emilia didn't recognize Regulus, it's actually because in the novel, Regulus wasn't supposed to be dripped the fuck out. His appearance was supposed to be so bland, average, and forgettable that you wouldn't be able to pick him out of a crowd. It's also been about a year since Emilia took the trials, but anyway, in the trailer we saw Regulus holding Emilia, so apparently he hasn't given up on her just yet. Remember when women created the concept of toxic masculinity just so they could have another thing to complain about? Well, Garfield is a really good example of that, because he just randomly swings on this man Reinhardt even though they've never met before. And the reason he did that is because the Sanctuary was Garfield's entire world before this. He's never had the chance to meet someone stronger than himself, so as soon as he smelled the strength on Reinhardt, it freaked him out and he just attacked instinctively. Garfield still seems to have some trauma left behind from Elsa, mixed with his frustration about not being the strongest anymore. However, he's still able to be a hero by saving a bunch of kids, and he tells them his name is Gorgeous Tiger in English, which I thought was a really cute way of showing how much he admires Subaru. Then he just randomly stumbles upon his mom, who he hasn't seen since he was a kid when she abandoned him. But they aren't the only family having problems. Reinhardt has granddaddy issues because Wilhelm unfairly blamed him for the death of his wife Theresia. However, Wilhelm regrets that, and he's now working to make amends and repair their relationship. His son, Heinkel, on the other hand, still blames Reinhardt to this day and seemingly only exists to be an asshole, drink, and ruin the vibes. Priscilla pulls up too, and that was the exact moment I really started to appreciate the new art style. She's just the hottest character alive in ReZero. You also might have noticed that Priscilla doesn't carry a sword. Well, the light novel explains that she drew her sword from the sky, and it was only supposed to be visible for a split second. They also cut some dialogue from Al where he reveals the name of the sword, which is the Yang sword. Looking back now, it's kinda weird that she whips it out here. Like, was that really necessary? Anyway, right at the end of the episode, we get the moment we've been waiting for. The Archbishop of Wrath introduces herself, Sirius Romanee-Conti, the exact same last name as Betelgeuse. But, hold up, before we go any further, first things first. Smash or pass? Now, this is a tricky one because the bandages conceal her true identity. There could be anything under there, but I think I'm gonna have to roll the dice for this one, boys, and go with the smash. Anyway, she's on top of a tower giving a speech to a group of people, and it seems like she's using some sort of ability to captivate them. Right before she clapped her hands, Subaru was trying to contact Beatrice to come help him, but after she claps, it's like he's in a trance. She keeps apologizing over and over, and she's able to identify specific people in the crowd that feel angry towards her, which obviously shouldn't be possible. I thought it was really creepy how she just introduced herself as a Sin Archbishop of the Witch Cult, yet everyone's laughing and having a great time. Then she brings out a kid who's clearly detained against his will, yet they all start cheering and applauding his death. And in typical rezero fashion, everyone else dies too. So let's talk about this episode. Sirius is really cool so far, and I'm a big fan of her voice actress and how expressive she is. As for her authority, it seems like she can control people to some extent. She can manipulate their emotions and kill them, apparently. And I really liked how the visual effects and the red eyes helped to show that they were under her control. So who is Sirius? Well, first of all, she's also named after a star, which many ReZero characters, including Subaru, are. She has the same last name as Betelgeuse, so she could either be married or related to him. Betelgeuse is a spirit though, meaning he can't have biological parents or children, so she's either his wife or sister. Or both. She also wears toilet paper over her entire body, which, if you ask me, I think is because the author wanted to hide her identity from us. I think she's a character we've seen before who suffered a tragedy and was turned into a villain, just like Betelgeuse. I'll go ahead and say it, I think Sirius is Fortuna. They both have silver hair, purple eyes, elf ears, and they're both connected to Betelgeuse. Does it get more obvious than that? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know what you think about Regulus being here. So far, he's just walking around not really doing anything, but there's a lot of people around breathing his air, so he could snap at any moment. Wrath is also here, and from the trailer we know that Gluttony and one other Archbishop are gonna show up too, so I guess the question is, where should we play Reinhardt? We've got 4 Archbishops and only one of him, so where do you guys think we need him the most? From the trailer, it looks like he's fighting Wrath, but is that the right matchup? Personally, I would like to see what would happen if Gluttony tried to eat him, but in terms of skill level, I don't think anyone other than Reinhardt stands a chance against Regulus. Also, what was up with Reinhardt being blamed for the death of Theresia? When she died, Reinhardt was like 4, so how could he have caused her death? Let me know your thoughts. We got some funny slice of life moments this episode, like when Beatrice ate a bunch of wasabi without knowing what it was and everyone laughed at her, and when she was trying to get Subaru's attention so he could compliment her new outfit. I know some people are going to complain about this episode having a lot of setup and reunions. Some of you might have expected non-stop nut-busting action the whole time, but my advice is to savor these moments of peace while you still can, because, I mean, we've all seen the trailer. The fucking city's on fire, and Subaru doesn't really get another break like this for multiple seasons. Anyway, this episode was a 10 out of 10. It was nice to watch this in English instead of French, but I've already seen it a billion times after it leaked, so I'm really hyped for episode 2. Thank you everyone for watching my video though. I'll have another one next week, so make sure you subscribe if you don't want to miss that. And as always, feel free to become a channel member for only $1, and all your comments can have a cool icon next to your name that makes you look better than everyone else. That's about it though. Keep talking about ReZero. I'm out for now. Peace.